Welcome back. All right, so 6 games tonight in the National Hockey League. A lot of Canadian teams involved, so let's go ahead and get into the first game of the night, which was Dallas and Ottawa. So the Ottawa Senators, remarkable run, really strong at home. Now, it was Wedgwood versus Hellberg. Hellberg's first game as an Ottawa Senator, and he played really well. One thing that you want to do as a goaltender gets picked up on waivers is show other teams, I can play in this league. And I think Hellberg did that. So when Talbot's healthy and he comes back, and I mean Hellberg would have to go on waivers then. I don't know that he clears if he keeps this up. So Kiviranta's denied on a rush. Batherson then had a rush chance as well. That was defended. The Stars get a power play. Sens don't let him set it up. Heiskanen had a blast that was held. That's killed off. I think that was the only shot that was near the net. Kiviranta, though, on a 2-on-1, he fires high, and he scores from Lindell at 6:30. So Kiviranta gets his goal anyways. The shots are 8-3 for Dallas at the half. Dallas comes out very good in this game in the first period, but then things start to change. Sens get a power play. It's killed off, but the Senators are pressing after, and the Senators are getting chances. Stars get pinned down for multiple shifts. Robertson then had a rush chance that was saved and held. There was a post for Tkachuk. The Stars get a power play on that same play. Shorthanded Joseph rush is denied. Solid penalty kill, and yeah, Dallas didn't have much going there. And then there was more pressure from Ottawa to end the first period. So Dallas is ahead 1-0, but Ottawa's not going away. Second period, Sens press early. Marchment had a rush chance that was saved. More Sens pressure at 4 minutes. The Stars get a power play. This is where the referee's told that he has more than 0% suck. That he might have an abundance of suck and he should get rid of it. So Sens get a power play after that. I didn't hear anything about the referee sucking when that took place. DeBrincat was denied, but Dallas kills that off. The Senators go back to the power play. So we're in a bit of a parade to the penalty box situation here. Good cycle. Giroux has a shot that's held, but it's killed off. Heiskanen then had a screenshot that was saved, and with 1:41 left, the Sens go back to the power play. Now, 3 years ago, the Sens power play was awful. And I could just put up there, Sens get a power play, it sucks. I wouldn't even have to watch the power play because I knew it wasn't going to succeed. This is not that team. This is a much better team now. They've got a pretty good unit when it comes to the power play. And Shabbat scores from DeBrincat and Tkachuk at 19:22. Initially, that goal was credited to Batherson. It was changed. And that was with traffic in front, and they thought it deflected off Batherson, which it didn't. So it's 1-1 after 2. Third period, Robertson's denied 6 seconds in. Stars had a 3-on-2. Hellberg holds. And then at 4:17, it's Tkachuk on a rush. The first shot of the third period for the Ottawa Senators from Stützle and Batherson. And the building is just electric. I absolutely love what's going on with Ottawa, even though this is the second time in a week they've done it to a team I cheer for. But hey, Sens press. Shabbat has a shot that's held. And then Pinto, 5-game goal-scoring streak. He wires it far corner at 10 minutes and 11 seconds. And then a feel-good story for Ottawa fans as well. Derek Brassard gets his first goal, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. And so that makes it a 4-1 game for Ottawa. And that's where the heroics by Hellberg take over. Dallas had opportunities. They pull the goaltender with 3:45 left. Hintz has a chance to deflect wide. They do eventually score. It's Johnston with his second from Sagan at 17:44. Dallas pulls the goalie again, but Hellberg's heroics take over again. So your final score is 4-2 for the Sens, who go to 4-2 on the season. Undefeated at home. Dallas, 4-1-1. They lose their first game in regulation. Your shots, 12-9 Dallas in the first, 14-9 Ottawa in the second, 10-9 Dallas in the third. Final shots, 32-31 for the Sens. Power plays, Dallas 0-3, Ottawa 1-4 the hits, 33-20 for Ottawa. So they played well, they hit well. Wedgwood saved 28 out of 32. He was excellent through the first 2 periods, and then the dam bursts. Hellberg, 29 saves and 31 shots. And yeah, Hellberg looked good. Basically, if you cheer for a team and the goaltender's name started with Hell, you had a good night, and you might feel, well, odd about that. But anyways, there you go, and it's a spoiler alert for a game down here. Next up, Washington and the New Jersey Devils. So this was the game with a lot of goals. Well, one of the games with a lot of goals. It's Lindgren versus Blackwood. Blackwood was a 3rd star this week in the NHL. I don't think he's going to be a 3rd star next week, unless he has fantastic starts from here. Caps get the first chance. That was held onto. Ovechkin's denied on a rush. The Devils press at 3.5 minutes. At 4:49, they score. It's Bastian. He buries one in close from McLeod and Marino. That was the 5th shot of the game for New Jersey. The Capitals had 2 to that point. So the Devils come out. They have the edge early on. Carlson fires one wide as the Caps press. There was a power play for Washington. The Devils kill that off. The shots are 8-4 Devils at the half. And then, well, the Capitals score. It's Dowd from Malenstein and Hathaway at 10:46. It was a really good forecheck by that fourth line. And I believe that was Malenstein's first ever assist, according to the announcers. Mantha nearly adds one on a rush. Caps press with 4 minutes left, but with 1 minute and 48 seconds left, the Devils get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. It's killed off. Heischer was then denied on a 2-on-1. There was then a power play for the Devils. That led to a shorthanded chance for Kuznetsov. That was saved, and they killed that one off as well. Tatar couldn't bury one in close. The shot was held. The shots are 7-4 for the Devils at 7 minutes. So they're playing well, but guess who else is playing well? Charlie Sideburns. So Hathaway scores on what was the Severson turnover. At least Severson had a chance to get the puck, didn't. Jensen's credited with an assist at 9:16. Then there's a power play for the Devils. This is a chance to change the momentum. But Connor Sherry scores at 10:03, and with 2 goals in less than a minute, suddenly the Caps are up 3-1. The Caps' puck pressure was really strong in this game at that point. We get a power play for Washington. Oshie fires one high in the slot. Ovechkin gets the power play goal. That's his 3rd of the season. We're 7 games in, so he's on pace for what, 33, maybe 36 goals. That's still pretty good. So Ovechkin gets the goal from Carlson and Strome at 17:14, and then again, less than a minute later, at 17:47, Jensen scores from Eller and Protas. He wired that one from the point. So twice in that second period, you get goals really close together for Washington, a team that had struggled, I believe, in the second period coming into this game. Didn't struggle tonight. So we go to the third period with them up by a bunch. Devils finish the kill that starts with 1 minute and 21 seconds left in the third period. There was even a Bronx cheer for Blackwood. I didn't think that was fair, although Vanacek did go into the net to start the third. The shots are 2-1 for the Caps at 4 minutes. And then Tatar, who's been having trouble with getting the goals and getting them to count, from Hamilton at 4:08. Devils get a power play. Washington kills that off. Lindgren not giving up rebounds. I almost said anyways, sideburns. Anyway, Bratt would get his first of the season, so that makes it a little closer. From Marino and Sharon Govich at 9:06. Sharon Govich was denied not long after that either, as the Devils had some pressure. They had momentum. They're looking for more. Fevari then had a rush chance. That was held. And then at 16:11, Protas kind of puts this one out of reach. He scores from Mantha and Eller. So that makes it 6-3. That's your final. The Capitals go above 500 at 4-3. The Devils drop to 500 at 3-3. The shots in this one, 13-7 New Jersey in the first, 14-11 New Jersey in the second, 14-4 New Jersey in the third. They played well. They outshot them 41-22. Power plays, Washington 1 for 3, New Jersey 0 for 4. The hits, 31-13 for Washington because they didn't have the puck very much. Lindgren, 38 saves on 41 shots. Blackwood saved 13 out of 18. That's an ouch. Vanacek saved 3 out of 4. He only had 4 shots. But yeah, so for the Devils, that's a setback, and we'll see how things go for them the rest of this week. Next up, Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say it straight out. I didn't move Pittsburgh on the power rankings board tonight. They're in the same spot. They're still where they were when I did the power rankings on Saturday. So it was Jari versus Campbell. And the hype for McDavid versus Crosby was huge. I was going to say McDavid versus Draisaitl. Why would they be against each other? But, although you can have the comparisons between the two. But yeah, the Crosby-McDavid videos before, because this is, it's 2 prime stars of the game against one another. Malkin with a turnover chance, that was saved. So, a little bit of sloppy play early on there from Edmonton. Kapanen has a chance that's held, and yeah, the Penguins had the jump. They were up 4-2 in shots at 2.5 minutes, but Edmonton opens the scoring. It's Hyman from Bouchard at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, or 4 minutes 36 seconds. He scores that one on a breakaway. It was the 3rd shot of the game for Edmonton. Pens press to respond. Malkin has a shot kicked aside. The Pens, they get some pressure, draw themselves a power play, and they score on it to tie the game. It's Raquel, who might have had his best game of the season today. From Carter and Zucker at 10:44. Far corner, bar down, no chance for Campbell. And then Crosby at 12:29 gives Pittsburgh the lead from Jari. Great pass by Raquel and an easy goal there for Crosby. The Pens then get a power play. It was 4 minutes. Raquel goes beast mode during that, but Edmonton survives. So really fantastic first period for Pittsburgh. They outshoot them by more than 2-1. But in the second period, things kind of flip. So second period, Kane has a shot that's held. They had a good start, but Rust banks one in off Campbell's back. So it's one of those ones where you're behind the goal line and you just kind of fling it in there. Malkin and Zucker with the assists at 2 minutes. So now it's 3-1 for Pittsburgh, kind of nullifying that good start for Edmonton. To Edmonton's credit, they didn't change their game. They were not dissuaded. McDavid exits. He hit his back on the goalpost, and it looked ugly too. The Oilers, though, they end up getting a power play, and they score on it. It's Barrie from Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 4:03. That was a lucky bounce. It goes in off Ruda, but they all count, so you take that, right? Yamamoto has a shot that's held as the Oilers now are looking to tie it. McDavid returned, had a really long shift after, so he felt okay. It was just a scare. The Oilers get a power play, which lasted 13 seconds, and then it became a 4-on-4, which the Oilers weren't happy about that call. Neither were the fans. But everything gets killed off, and then the Oilers press, and at 15:09, with some line juggling by Woodcroft, and honestly, some really good coaching tonight for Edmonton, Kane scores from Draisaitl. So he switched up the wingers on McDavid's line and Draisaitl's line, and it worked to a T. Really worked quite well. Murray has a shot held, and the Oilers have the momentum after getting that tying goal. McDavid to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Nugent-Hopkins can't bury it, but he buries his next opportunity at 18:28. Hyman and Kulak with the assists. And not long after, and this is one of those last-minute goals in a period that can really, it puts the screws to Pittsburgh is what it does. Draisaitl from Kane and Nurse at 19:37, and it was a backhand on a toe drag. It was a fantastic goal by Draisaitl. And so for Leon, he had a pretty good game. And so Edmonton's up 5-3 after 2 periods. Fantastic second period for them where they managed 26 shots. So Pittsburgh's defense didn't have a great period. Third period, things are a little more settled. Early press by the Penguins. There was a post for Fogle on a rush. The shots are 4-2 Pittsburgh at 4 minutes. Then there's a crossbar for Ryan Murray, who's I think's played well for Edmonton. Oilers fans, you guys can let me know how you feel about him. Pens press with 8.5 minutes left. Kane was denied on a fast break. With 7:06 left, the Pens get a power play. That's killed off, so that's 2 more minutes off the clock. And then McLeod from Ryan on a rush. Fantastic pass by Ryan on a turnover, and McLeod buries it at 16:45. Your final score is 6-3, so Edmonton gets back to 500 at a 3-3 record. For Pittsburgh, it's their first regulation loss. They're 4-1-1, same record as Dallas, and now they're tied for first in the division with a team we'll talk about in a bit here. The shots were 19-9 Pittsburgh in the first, 26-4 Edmonton in the second, and 12-11 Edmonton in the third. Final shots 47-34 for Edmonton. This game was everything I thought it would be. Power plays, Pittsburgh 1 for 5, Edmonton 1 for 3. The hits 32-27 Pittsburgh. Jari saves 41 out of 47. Campbell saves 31 out of 34. So very, very entertaining game. Really, really solid. And then we get into St. Louis and the Winnipeg Jets. So the St. Louis Blues came into tonight undefeated. So there's a theme tonight. Grice versus Hellebuck in this one. Connor was denied on a 2-on-1. The shots are 4-2 though for the Blues at 4 minutes. So they came out with some jump to start this. Tarasenko's denied. Hellebuck is sharp to start the game as well. And that's good news if you're a Jets fan, right? Power play for the Blues. Kyrou had a screenshot that's held. That power play is killed off. Pionk's denied as the Jets press. O'Reilly had a rush chance. That was blocked out. The Jets press with 7.5 minutes left. The Blues get a power play. That was killed off. Pressed by the Blues after it ends. They're not able to get a goal, though, obviously. Connor to Scheifele was blocked, and with 45 seconds left, the Jets get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. It's still scoreless. There was a shorthanded wraparound attempt by O'Reilly that wouldn't go. So right off the hop, St. Louis trying to get that shorthanded marker. It's killed off, but the Jets get another power play. There was a near miss by Perfetti. Lowry had a near miss there as well. And so the Blues kill that off. And then Scheifele puts the Jets into the lead. He scores from in close. Pionk and Appleton with the assists at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So just past the halfway mark of the game, we finally have a goal. And I think scoring is going to start dropping at least a little. And it feels like some of these games are starting to feel more defensively aware than, that first week of the season. As teams get used to their systems, providing a team plays them properly, you'll see scores come down at least a little. Blues press for an answer. The shots are 5-2, though, for the Jets with 8 minutes left. So not a lot of opportunities in this game on the net. Not at that point anyways. Levo's denied on a rush. The Blues press with 3.5 minutes left. Falk defends a break for Connor. Didn't take a penalty either. Jets fans wanted a penalty there. I thought it was a clean break up there by Falk. Then there's a post for Scheifele, but the Jets get a power play. So we go to the third period. Connor has a shot that's held on a rush. Scheifele's denied. The Jets had the momentum to start that third period. And I thought that was really telling, that at home it's a big game, and they come out and they had their arguably best period, maybe of the season. Perfetti is a wraparound. That was saved. Connor's denied from the slot. Perfetti's going to start getting more goals here. Shots are 8-1 for the Jets at 5 minutes. Yeah, they came to play. O'Reilly has a rush chance that's held, and then it's Gagne with his third goal of the season already from Connor and Morrissey at 10:38. Wheeler then had a blast that was saved. There's a near miss for Appleton as the Jets press, and then Barron gets his first of the season from Lowry and Pionk at 13:43. So Adam Lowry really leading by example tonight. Great pass by him, and Barron buries it. Jets press, they get a power play. It becomes 1 minute and 2 seconds of 5-on-3. There's a crossbar for Connor, and then he was denied by Grice on the next opportunity. The Jets did kill it off. The Blues killed it off. 3 shots by the Jets. I guess the Jets killed off their own power play. Sure, why not? But they pulled the goaltender to try to get something going. That allows Perfetti to hit the empty net. From Wheeler and Dillon at 18:26. Your final score is 4-0. The Jets, even their record at 3-3. I love how many teams right now are at 500, how close everything is. The Blues dropped to 3-1 with the loss. Your shots in this one, 13-13 in the first, 9-5, Winnipeg in the second, 21-7, Winnipeg in the third. Final shots, 43-25 for the Jets. Power plays, St. Louis 0-2, Winnipeg 0-5. Hits, 39-19 Jets. Yeah, they came to play. Logan Stanley as well in his 100th game. He played well too. I have a hard time thinking of a Jet that didn't play well. Grice saves 39 out of 42. He was very good. He just didn't have goal support, because Hellebuck was putting up his 29th career shutout with 25 saves on 25 shots. And now I need to change boards. Okay, so Toronto in against the Vegas Golden Knights. This was a very Vegas game. I don't know any other way to put this. It felt like a Vegas game. It had all of the earmarks, and we'll go through it. So it's Samsonov versus Thompson. I know all the Toronto people are still calling him Samsonov, but I got used to saying Samsonov from Washington. And I really think that's the proper pronunciation, because everybody was correcting me on it 2 years ago, so I'm saying Samsonov. Early jump for Vegas. Then there was too many Leafs on the ice, so Vegas gets a power play. The Leafs don't let them set up. And then kind of a jerk move here, right? Kessel gets his 400th goal. This is the night where he's tied Keith Yandel. Who cares if it's offside? Well, the Leafs do. So what I will say this, what I like that the Leafs did, they called a timeout. So while Keith's talking to his players, they decided, all right, are we going to challenge for an offside or not? Not the players, but the assistant coaches and the head coach. And they decided, yeah, we'll challenge it. So they challenge it, and yeah, it's offside. However, on that same power play with 1 second left in it, Roy scores from Smith and Kessel at 3:51. So they get it back, and that's what I love seeing, is a team, having a goal taken off the board. Just go down and get it again. Just do that. Matthews then had a rush chance that was held. He is still in a bit of a goal-scoring slump by his standards. Sandin prevented a goal for Stone. It's all Vegas at this point. Rasmus Sandin had some good defensive plays tonight. And the turnovers were hurting the Leafs. Being able to make those passes, those crisp passes, just wasn't there at that point. The Leafs pressed, but Thompson holds on. Sandin shot blocked when Vegas pressed. There's a near miss for Giordano and a heavy Leafs press late in the period. The Leafs get a power play. That's killed off. Just the one shot allowed by the Vegas Golden Knights. So we go to the second period with Vegas up 1-0. They press at 2 minutes. Carrier had a net drive that was held, and then there's some pushing that takes place. The shots are 5-1 for Vegas 3.5 minutes in. So yeah, Vegas is playing some Vegas hockey here. Post for Marner on a break. Bunting then had a rush chance that was held, so at least generate some opportunities. Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. Raw with the near miss right after it ended. Samsonov was the reason it was close at this point, and then Nylander's the reason it's tied. He scores from Robertson and Tavares at 11:43. He scored that one on a rush. The Leafs then pressed for the lead. Matthews blasts one wide. There's more Leafs pressure with 3.5 minutes left. White Cloud then had an opportunity that ends up going wide. But after 2 periods, it's 1-1. So we're going to the third. Eichel was denied on an opening rush, and this is where I said, okay, this is your spring-loaded offense for Vegas in the third period at home. I've watched this we're in the 6th season now. This is how it works. Stone nearly buries one, and then Stevenson does. Scores from McNabb and Theodore at 43 seconds. And it feels like Chandler Stevenson scores some big goals for this team. And Vegas then pushes for another. Stevenson's denied. The Leafs would rush the other way. Engvall had a rush chance, and Haig defended that before it could get to the net. Tavares had a wraparound that was held, and then a puck hits the back of Tavares' knee from the look of it. It was a 97-mile-per-hour puck, so he couldn't put any weight on the leg. He goes off. He heads to the back with trainer helping him back and all that. It didn't look good. And then Amadio scores from Haig at 8:12. He scores on a rush, and I will always credit a DJ for the right move. Rock Me Amadeus is absolutely the song that should play right when Amadio scores. I know it's not the goal song for Vegas. Make an exception for Amadio. It's his first goal. It's not like he's going to score a lot. Rock Me Amadeus should be his song. And we could just start calling him Amadeus. I'm fine with that. I don't know if he's fine with that. It's really not his decision. 8:31 left. Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. And Tavares returned after it was done. So Leaf fans can breathe a sigh of relief on that one. The goalie gets pulled with 4 minutes left. With 2:43 left, it becomes a 6-on-4 with the penalty. They cycle. They get opportunities, but it's killed off. 3 shots allowed. And Vegas wins this one 3-1. They go to 5-2 on the season, so very good start for Vegas. Toronto 4-3 on the season with the loss. The shots 10-9 Toronto in the first, 12-7 Vegas in the second, 12-6 Vegas in the third. Final shots 33-23 for Vegas. Power plays Toronto 0 for 2, Vegas 1 for 3. The hits 34-29 for Vegas. Samsonov saves 30 out of 33. Thompson saves 22 out of 23. And yeah, it's just that's how Vegas hockey has worked. And they're starting to look a lot like Vegas their first 2 seasons. So they're legit. This is a team that could be very scary, could win the division, and who knows how far they might go in the playoffs. All right, last one of the night, Carolina and Vancouver. Now, I didn't expect a win for Vancouver, and that's not the part that, as a Canuck fan, it bothers me. What bothers me is how this went. And okay, let's go through the notes, and I'll work through it like a therapy session. So it's Anderson versus Demko. It's Demko's best night. Early chances for the Canucks. Near miss for Joshua as the Canucks press. The Canes then press at 5 minutes. Chatfield has a shot that's held, and the Canes get a power play, and they score on it pretty quickly, too. It's Svechnikov, who's red hot. From Natchez and Burns at 6:06, and 7.5 minutes in, the shots are 6-2 Carolina. Coughlin got hit with a puck, but he got up. Then the Canucks build some momentum, but then Natchez has a rebound that's held on a rush. Stastny scores, but it's waved off due to goalie interference. The Canes challenge it. No. The call stands, so the Canucks get a power play, and they score on it. It's JT Miller, who I think had his best game of the season tonight. From Horvat and Pettersson at 12:30. Good forecheck, easy goal. Rathbone then with a turnover, but Demko bailed him out there. And I thought it was Demko's best period of the regular season thus far. 14 saves on 15 shots. So second period, the Canucks get a power play. That was killed off. The shots are only 1 apiece at 4.5 minutes. There's a net feed to Pettersson. Near miss there. Natchez has a blast that's saved. The Canes press. The Canes end up getting a power play. That led to a shorthanded net drive by Horvat that was saved. Teravainen has a shot that's held. And yeah, that was the one shot on that power play. They did kill that off. Canes go back to the power play. That led to a shorthanded rush by Miller that ended it. So 2 shots on that power play. Kuzmenko then couldn't bury on a 2-on-1. There's a near miss for Oliver Ekman-Larsson in the closing seconds. So it's still 1-1 going into the third. Early press by the Canes, and they score. It's Aho buries one in close. No chance, Demko. Jarvis and Teravainen at 50 seconds. And then fast scores from Stahl and Shea at 1:27. It's another rush, and I put right here, another meltdown. So the Canucks, knowing that they had lost 6 in a row coming into tonight, it's a big third period, and I understand the Canes are one of the best teams in the league. There's people picking them to win the Stanley Cup. You cannot have 2 goals in about 30 seconds in a third period of a game you have to win. And especially considering the Canes were on a long road trip. They went through Alberta. This is something that used to be said of the Canucks record. The way the schedule maker used to work, it felt like teams would play Calgary and Edmonton back-to-back. They'd have a day off, and then they'd play in Vancouver. Vancouver would get teams on the third night in 4, right? This is their third game in 4 days. And the Canucks would get wins that way. You would see teams get worn down in the third period. It didn't happen to Carolina. Now, I fully credit Rod Brind'Amour with having his team ready, right? Rod Brind'Amour, he doesn't deal with failure. I have a feeling that if they fail, he's just, he's tearing that suit off and somebody's getting pummeled. But the reality is, all kidding aside, the Canucks can't have periods like this, right? So the Canes then press at 5 minutes. They're in complete control. This is a game the Canucks have to win. I don't care who the other team is. They have to win this game. I had to put up here too, it's the Pacific Mausoleum all over again, because they were showing the crowd who were bored, yawning, on their phones, ignoring the game, very quiet. And yeah, and I say Pacific Mausoleum because back in the day when they were in the Pacific Coliseum, it would get quiet like this a lot. And it was called the Pacific Mausoleum because it was one of the quietest buildings in the National Hockey League. Looks like those days are back. A generation later, we're back to that, right? And the shots are 9-1 for the Canes at 7 minutes. The Canucks are giving their fans no reason to be into it until a lucky bounce off Kotkaniemi's face. Myers tries to dump one in, goes off Kotkaniemi's cheek, right to JT Miller. He scores from Myers and Ekman-Larsson at 10:40. And like I said on Twitter, that might have been Myers' best pass as a Canuck because I like to think it's on purpose. I like to think he sat down on the bench and said, I think I'm going to hit one off Kotkaniemi's face. JT, get in the zone. Once I've hit it off of his face, we'll get the goal. And start calling them. Start calling bank shots. Just sure, why not? Now, you would expect the Canucks to have some momentum. Now they're down by 1. And they did press with about 7 minutes left, but then the Canes start pressing back. 6 minutes left, suddenly they're in the Canucks zone, and the Canucks are having a hard time getting it out. That momentum was very short-lived, right? So 2:20 left, the Canucks call a timeout. They pulled the goaltender. You could see them all talking to each other on the ice and all planning out whatever they're going to do. They couldn't get to the net. The Canes are shot blocking. Great game by Pesce. Great game by Slavin. Burns was blocking shots. I think Brent Burns, as a member of the Canes, is playing some of the best defensive hockey I've ever seen him play. Clearly, he's bought into the system that the Canes are playing, and the Canucks don't seem to have a system that works. So either the Canucks don't have a system that works, or they're just not playing it. So that one way or the other, it's either the coaching staff doesn't have a system that's going to work to get this team over the hump, or the team just isn't playing it. So your final score is 3-2. The Canes go to 4-1-1, and Vancouver drops to 0-5-2. And I've got right here, the 0-win dream is alive. The next games are at Seattle and then at home against Pittsburgh, and those are back-to-back. So this can get uglier. The game at Seattle's on Thursday. The game at home against Pittsburgh is on Friday. I updated the records. I had the 4-1-1 and the 0-5-2 on this board when Carolina scored early because I said, yeah, the Canucks aren't winning this. And that's the problem, is that we're already to a point where I see the start of a game and I go, yeah, they're not winning it. So the shots in this one bear that out. 15-7 Carolina in the first, 9-6 Carolina in the second. And in the third period, you have to have your best third period. They get outshot 15-3. Final shots 39-16 for Carolina, who are on a long road trip. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 3, Vancouver 1 for 2. The hits 27-11 for Vancouver. Anderson saved 14 out of 16. He may have had an off night. We'll never know. They didn't get a puck on the net when they needed to. Demko, his best night, 36 saves on 39 shots. Completely wasted. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.